Okay, hi YouTube, Mr. User Boss here, and in this video I'm going to be talking about my top 5 Android apps and games of August to September 2014. So I'm having a really good time on the Play Store at the minute. There's plenty of new hits coming, and in this video I'm going to be demoing them on my HTC One M8, which is a very strong performing Android device. So the first game is Flappy Bird 3D. So this is not an official release, and it's definitely not by the same developer who released the initial Flappy Bird, but it's actually a very good take and quite original. You know, the graphics are actually very impressive. It actually looks a lot like, for example, Temple Run 2, and yeah, it's definitely worth trying. It's a bit of fun, and it's not quite as difficult as the original, but it's still pretty crushing later on. So number 2 is Iron Knights, and this kind of looks like a very standard generic dungeon crawler, and I suppose to a certain extent this is true, but in all elements of the game it's very solid. The combat is actually very fast, varied, and there's plenty to do. The RPG elements are deep, and there's tons of attacks, as you can see. On top of that, the actual visuals of the game are very impressive, and in combat especially, you can see the whole screen is just alive and flashing with all these really over-the-top attacks that look and feel incredible to use. So the game is free, and it's kind of spacey. I think it takes up over a gigabyte when installed, but they're working on reducing the size, so hopefully that shouldn't be much of an issue. So the third one is called Ingress, and this was requested by Vladdy L, and really grateful for that, because this is actually a really cool game. So it's like pretty much nothing I've ever seen before in that it actually uses real life data. So the first thing you'll actually do when you start it is enter where you actually live, or use GPS to find it. And using that data, you actually, you're pitted against other players in a real world scenario. So you choose one faction, either the Resistance or the Enlightened, and you actually have to travel to nodes which are real locations on the world map. So you literally have to actually get out of your house and walk to them. Once you're actually there, you try and capture these nodes and harvest exotic matter. So this is a very cool real life style game, which I suppose is kind of, yeah, it's really unusual, and you're actually competing against real players. So I can imagine some sort of face-off occurring at some point when you actually stroll into someone else playing the same game or something, but really cool idea. Number 4 is called Manuganu, and this is a very beautiful platformer. And it's basically like a runner game, but it's not an endless runner. There are actually levels to complete, and it's fairly basic in terms of the actual gameplay mechanics. There's really not much to do. However, there's actually a lot of replay value here. In every single level, in every single world, you actually can go back, try and collect all the medallions and all the bluestones, and this can get pretty tricky. So yeah, I mean, the game is very basic, but it's very nice to look at, and it's free, so you should probably check it out at least. Now the last one is an app, and it's kind of more of an entertainment funny app. It doesn't really have any major use, but it's called FatBooth, and you may be aware of this and what it does, but basically you take any photo either from your camera or your gallery, so you could download one. It then asks you to identify where the eyes, mouth and chin are, and once you've done this you just hit ready, go. And this button will basically just transform the face into a fat face, and honestly it's pretty hilarious. It's a good thing to do on photos of friends and family, or even celebrities if you're really bored. Once you've done that, it gives you the option to share it via email, Twitter, Facebook, all those sorts of things, or you can just download it to your gallery for later entertainment. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more.